Allegedly, the metal battery of the iPhone 17 Pro was exposed. Majin Bu has recently stated that, contrary to their initial claim, this battery is really for the iPhone 17 Pro and not the iPhone 17. It appears that two models, one with and one without a physical SIM card tray, will be available. Due to a miscommunication with my source, the information I reported yesterday is incorrect, said Majin Bu. Images of an alleged battery pack for Apple's next iPhone 17 Air variant, which is anticipated to ship in September, were published today by a leaker going by the name Majin Bu. The battery appears to have a metal cover, similar to that of the iPhone 16 Pro. This cover would aid in dissipating heat produced by the battery within the incredibly thin iPhone 17 Air, which is anticipated to have a thinnest point of only 5.5 millimeters. Majin Bu was informed by a source that the L-shaped battery pack will hold about 2,900 milliamps. This is consistent with earlier speculation that the iPhone 17 Air's battery will have a capacity of between 2,800 and 3,000 milliliters. Low-voltage electrical current, such as that from a 9-volt battery or another power source, can remove the type of adhesive used by the batteries in the iPhone 16 and iPhone 16 Plus. Majin Bu anticipates that the battery of the iPhone 17 Air will likewise be detachable in this manner. When it comes to Apple rumors, Majin Bu has a checkered record. Most recently, they were right when they said that iPadOS 26 would give iPads a menu bar that looked like a Mac. The iPhone 17 Air may have the shortest battery life of any iPhone model since the iPhone 13 series if the 2,900 mAh estimate is correct, although the increased power efficiency of the A19 chip may make up for the smaller capacity. Additionally, the iPhone 17 Air would have a little longer battery life thanks to iOS 26's new adaptive power mode. Wayne Ma of The Information stated earlier this year that the iPhone 17 Air will have worse battery life than earlier iPhone models because of the device's rumored ultra-thin design, which would limit internal battery space. According to that source, Apple conducted internal testing and found that between 60% and 70% of consumers will be able to use the iPhone 17 Air for the entire day without needing to recharge it during the day. According to the research, that measure appears to be between 80% and 90% for previous iPhone models. According to the source, Apple intends to make a battery case available as an add-on for the iPhone 17 Air in order to address this issue. Following the now discontinued MagSafe battery pack for iPhone 12 models, and later, Apple last produced battery covers for the iPhone 11 series. Few things are worse than price increases, particularly for high-end phones like Apple's iPhones. But regrettably, we may need to prepare for a price increase on the iPhone 17 series this year. In a recent investor note, Edison Lee predicted that the price of all 4 iPhone 17 models will increase by about $50 in comparison to the iPhone 16 series. Therefore, you might want to start saving some additional money if you were hoping to purchase an iPhone 17 of some kind. We might have to pay at least $849 for an iPhone 17, $1,049 for an iPhone 17, and $1,249 for an iPhone 17 Pro Max if this rumor turns out to be accurate. This is presuming that the ordinary and Pro versions have 128 gigs of storage, while the Pro Max has 256 gigs. This is the same beginning storage as the iPhone 16 series. Since this is the first time that we have seen a gadget of this type, the iPhone 17 Air is somewhat of a mystery. It might only be somewhat more costly than the iPhone 16 Plus if the analyst's assessment is believed. Additionally, we have heard rumors about a possible price increase before. The Wall Street Journal stated back in May that Apple was thinking about increasing pricing this year. It's also not a great surprise, given stories of potential price increases for the previous iPhone releases have surfaced, but the pricing has remained largely unchanged thus far. Actually, Apple's decision to discontinue the 128 gig storage option on the iPhone 15 Pro Max was the closest thing we saw to a price increase. Therefore, even though Apple maintained the $1,199 price tag for a 256 gigs model, the entry-level price was still $100 more than it was the year before. Even though a $50 price increase isn't much, you don't want to pay more for the newest smartphone when you're already spending at least $799 on it, regardless of how many upgrades it has. Still, iPhone owners might be getting off easy if this rumor proves to be accurate. Other phones, such as the $1,299 Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra and S25 Ultra, have not been as fortunate. Therefore, even while an iPhone price increase may be inconvenient, the iPhone 17 Pro Max is still less expensive than some of the alternatives at $1,249. Until the iPhone launch event, which is anticipated to occur the week of September 8, we probably won't know for sure. Those who prefer smaller phones may be disappointed when the base iPhone 17 is released later this year. According to a recent rumor, the normal iPhone screen size will be increased following the current Pro model's launch last autumn. Regular leaker Digital Chat Station claims that the iPhone 17 will now measure 6.3 inches instead of 6.1. The iPhone 16 Pro is the same size. On Weibo, Digital Chat Station said, "I mentioned before that there are two new 6.3 small straight screens in the next generation in China, including the iPhone 17 screen size has become 6.27/6.3, according to a machine translation. Apple increased the screen size of the Pro versions last year, but did not make any changes to the standard iPhone 16. Between 6.1 and 6.3 inches, the iPhone 16 Pro and the iPhone 16 Pro Max grew from 6.7 to 6.9 inches. According to our current understanding, the iPhone 17 Pro and iPhone 17 Pro Max will continue to be the same size as their iPhone 16 equivalents. The iPhone 17 screen size hasn't increased significantly, but it does carry on the trend of smartphones being bigger over the past few years. Ross Young, a display analyst, predicted last month that the screens of the iPhone 17 and iPhone 17 Pro will be the same size, and the Digital Chat Station rumor appears to support that prediction. The iPhone 17 panel should get better in other ways besides getting bigger. According to certain reports, the iPhone 17 will have a ProMotion display. This is Apple's trademark for screens with higher refresh rates, which are only available on the Pro versions at this time. Additionally, according to the Korean newspaper ET News, all iPhone 17 versions will have 120Hz screens this year. Reducing the amount of cameras on the rear of the iPhone 17 Air is another way Apple can ensure that it lives up to its name. Since camera sensors require a significant amount of room, Apple is able to decrease the overall size of the phone by limiting it to the necessities. According to analyst Ming-Chi Kuo, the iPhone 17 Air will only have a single 48 megapixels rear lens instead of the primary and ultra-wide camera combo seen on the iPhone 16 Plus. The telephoto camera will still only be available on the Pro iPhone. You could use a 48 megapixels primary camera for both zooming and cropping images to about equal a 2x optical zoom. Since the iPhone 15 adopted a 48 megapixels primary camera, Apple has taken that strategy, and in our testing, those zoom images have performed comparably to those taken with the specialist telephoto lens. As an aside, analyst Jeff Pu supports the idea that the iPhone 17 Air would have a single 48 megapixels primary camera, while the front camera will have a 24 megapixels sensor. This assertion aligns with speculation that the present 12 megapixels true depth camera on iPhones will be replaced in the rest of the iPhone 17 lineup. The long-awaited revamp of the iPhone 17 series is displayed in iPhone 17 Pro Max renderings. Even though the anticipated release date is still months away, the rumors are already moving around at a steady pace. The most recent comes from renowned Apple leaker Sonny Dixon, who on Sunday shared images of a purported iPhone 17 Pro Max with a MagSafe case on X. Although it's unclear exactly how, rumors have said that Apple intends to redesign the phone's rear. The iPhone 17 Pro Max keeps the triangle camera setup, but it pushes the LiDAR scanner, LED flash, and microphone to the other side. The end result is a rectangular camera bar that resembles the Pixel 9 and other models in Google's Pixel line. This revamped camera bar is anticipated to be shared by the iPhone 17 Pro and the brand new, absurdly thin iPhone 17 Air. It's interesting to hear that Apple has chosen to maintain the present design for the iPhone 17 and iPhone 17 Plus, Perhaps this is to make its high-end phones more easily identifiable in comparison to their competitors. Given that it extends the entire length of the phone's back, the camera module is rather large, which would undoubtedly distinguish it from even the greatest iPhones. It's difficult to tell from these renders whether Apple has reduced the size of Dynamic Island, as we've heard in earlier rumors. Since the launch of Apple's selfie camera spot, iPhone owners have yearned for this feature. According to at least one leaker, a metal-lens design for Face ID will allow the iPhone 17 Pro Max have a thinner dynamic island. Unlike the curved lenses often found in phones, which bend light towards the image sensor, this kind of flat lens uses metasurfaces to concentrate light. We are excited, but for the time being, we will have to take all of this with a grain of salt. The lineup needs a makeover since, if history is to be believed, the iPhone 17 will be released around the 5th anniversary of the iPhone 12, the device's most recent significant update. So, that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more tech news and updates. Goodbye.